Frak, this podcast, come and listen to us talk about Battlestar Galactica. It's a show that we're talking about. How does that happen every time? Like, I pull up both, and then somehow, like, I turn off the tab with the thing that I had up. Give me a second. All right.
No,
No,
I will not give you a second. This is all going in.
All right. Well, then, hello, interrupts, and welcome to the Frak This podcast. I am your sunburnt host, Jesse Gender, and I am joined as always by.
It's Vera. I am mildly sunburned. I got a little on the shoulders because of a walk in the woods that I took that if people follow my channel have already seen.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You wandered off and fucked off, I guess, into the woods. Yeah.
That was kind of the intention.
Yeah.
But yeah, how you doing?
I am very sunburnt at the moment. I spent this past weekend, so for listeners, if you follow my secondary channel, Jesse Gender After Dark, I did an interview recently with Tawny Newsome from Star Trek Lower Decks and writer on Star Trek Starfleet Academy. And we were just talking to her about these two short films that she's making. Black-led short films, are entirely black cast short films that she was making at her home, which is out in the desert. Literally in the middle of the desert is her home. And she was like, oh, well, we offered to be like, if you need us, if you need free labor, we would be happy to help. So she took us up on that offer. So I was helping out. My friend and Giraffe were helping out with her two short films this past weekend in the middle of the desert. And I am the whitest person ever. And so I put on a shit ton of sunscreen, but it was hot, and it was a lot of like walking through the desert to shoot things. So I got very sunburnt.
Well, hope it was worth it. Enjoy the skin cancer.
Yeah, right. It was actually a very fun time. It was a very good shoot. Everyone was amazing. Michelle Hurd was part of the cast too, and she was super nice. So yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Make those connections. Network, bitch!
Yeah! No, it's great. No, Toddy is awesome. She's super sweet. Her house is really nice. She has a cool dog. Like I said, she is just like a fucking ranch. It's basically just a ranch in the middle of the goddamn desert. And I slept in a yurt. I got to sleep in a yurt. Because, she has a bunch of, trailers and campers all over her property, but everyone was staying in them. So she asked her neighbor, who has, a yurt, if I could stay there. So Giraffe and we stayed in the yurt, and she was worried. She's like, she's a nice old hippie. She's this old lady living alone in the desert. So it's either she's like a weird old hippie lady, or she's going to murder you, and I'm not sure which.
You weren't sure if you were in the stoner comedy
the horror
or the horror movie. Yeah.
Turns out the yurt had a TV, Wi-Fi, and an AC, which no one else got. So I lucked out. It was great. So yeah, no, we stay on the yurt. So that was my weekend. It was a good weekend. So how are you?
I'm okay. My boyfriend came over, started watching BoJack Horseman, which I have been putting off for literally years.
A great show. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always assumed that I'm going to like it, but I put it off for a while because I didn't think I was in a headspace to watch it.
Yeah, it gets especially in later seasons, it gets dark. So
I mean, I know it gets dark, and also shit like COVID happened, and the world kept being bad. But I think actually I'm okay to watch it now, because I think more than anything, what I needed was more distance from the kind of person I used to be 10 years ago. I think I needed more distance from that, so it didn't hit me where I live as much as it might have if I was watching it when it first came out, because I wasn't distanced enough from my own worst behavior.
Yeah. I really like BoJack Horseman. It's really good. It's very funny. Gets very dark. I also really like the new show from the creator, Long Story Short, if you get a chance to watch that.
We'll see if I get around to it.
It's one season. I think it just got renewed for a second season, but it's really, really good. Best way I can describe it, it's about a Jewish family that is kind of stereotypical in the sense that it is like very neurotic. Everyone is overbearing and over anxious all the damn time and over worried about each other. But what's interesting, and it's very funny, but it's told out of time. So like one episode will be set like when the main character's like 18 years old, and then the next episode will be when he's 30, and then the next episode will be when he's 22. So it's told
Hmm.
out of like out of order, and the way that they do that, I think is very clever. Like the things you learn based on the time jumps and when you learn them are really, really interesting and well thought out. So
That's cool.
yeah, no, I really
Yeah,
liked it a
no,
lot.
that's neat. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
Hmm.
The other thing that we watched was The Menu, which
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
meaning to see for years. Um, and I finally bumped it up because it actually, well, my boyfriend had wanted to watch it with me for a little bit, but also I got commissioned for it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of how I can say this without doing spoilers. Because if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to, and to be as unspoiled as you can manage. But there is a character in the movie who is a sex worker. And the person who commissioned me very specifically wanted my perspective on that. And I think it might be my new high bar
Hmm.
for depiction of a sex, not a depiction of sex work, but depiction of a sex worker in movies that I've seen. It's definitely in the conversation. And it might be my new high bar for that. It handles that aspect so well, especially compared to what I expect
Yeah.
when there is a sex worker character in a movie.
Yeah, yeah. No, all right. Yeah, I forgot about that part of. I don't want to spoil, but yeah, I forgot about that part of the movie. Not that it's bad, but it's just like, oh yeah, that is the part of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw I've already talked about it elsewhere, and we talked about it before I went on the podcast. But I saw Mandalorian and Grogu, and I have to say, like, it was fine. It was a good, despite protestations. Everyone's like, it's the worst piece of shit ever, and it's the end of Star Wars, and it's awful. I thought it was fine. I don't know what to tell you. I like Jack Jabba the Hutts and puppets being weird, and
Look,
and big monster fights. Like it's fine.
it'll do fine. They brought the budget back under control
Yeah.
compared to Rise of Skywalker and Solo, so like it'll be fine.
Yeah, like it doesn't need my defending. I'm just like it's a fine movie. It's okay. Good time at theater was had. I guess is
It
the bar.
is indeed a movie.
It is a movie positive, or what's the phrase? Non-derogatory, complimentary. There's the word I was looking for. It is definitely a movie complimentary.
Complimentary.
Well, speaking of movies, no, I'm trying. How do I transition to Latin? I don't understand. Well, we're talking about the comments from Sin Queen, the episode that had Latin. Do you know it? Can you say it? Just for posterity, please.
Let me pull it up again.
Sign qui nun?
Sine qua non.
Sine qua non. All right, all right. Well, speaking of which,
Although,
uh,
to be clear, that's like technically anglicized, bastardized Latin. To try to do it more accurate to what we think it was, it would be something else. But to the extent I learned Latin, I didn't learn the quote unquote more authentic pronunciation. And even that's kind of semi bullshit because it's a dead language.
yeah, well, Romler has something to say about that. Romler said, as someone who took 4 years of Latin in high school, I'm not going to knock anyone for the pronunciation. Let me put it this way. Technically, the proper way to say the phrase vice versa is vice versa. And good luck finding anyone who actually does it. So yeah. Yeah, so there you go. Let's see. So Pearl May say now taking bets on what from Dispossessed is portrayed in Jesse's tattoo. If the tattoo is revealed next week and it turns out to be the infamously spunky scene with a red circle and slash no symbol over it, as Bookie will provide libations for all so we can do a collective spit take. No, it is not. I mean, it's kind of similar, but it's got the two planets, which is not an completely like this is like some book covers have stuff similar to this. It's not exactly this, but it's similar to that. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Sarah says you can really feel the period with this one. Let me re-say this. You can really feel the period this one was made in this one. It's aggressively of its time. Talking about the episode. I don't know why I can't. Sarah, I don't know why I can't read your your comment. You wrote it fine. I just can't read. There's the individual strong women characters in the same milieu as such deep misogyny that the president of the colonies is dismissively described by his supposed good guy as a woman. The same supposed good guy getting no consequences for screwing a prisoner. We've also got some discount Sorkin political shenanigans, and most 2000s of all the choice to hope. I'm assuming of hope. The choice of hope is framed in terms of choosing to believe in one apparently virtuous individual to lead. So, yeah, it's a good point. Very good point. Any
Once we
comments
got through it.
Yeah, if I could fucking say it again. Sorry, that was all on me. Nothing to do with you. I just can't fucking read. All right. Any other comment that you wanted to read that you saw?
Yes, because Pearl May left an additional comment.
Yes, go for it.
Please tell me the fandom calls Romo's cat head pussy.
Oh, yes. No, but I wish they did. Head pussy. That's fine. I have head pussy all the time. It's fine. Don't think about it.
I'm probably gonna think too much about it, actually.
You do that. Well, it is a great notion to be thinking about. And speaking of which, we're talking about the episode, Sometimes a Great Notion. That was...
Fuck.
Uh-oh.
I watched the wrong episode.
Wait, what episode did you watch?
Hang on. I swore I checked this. Wait a goddamn minute.
Oh, no, you were correct. You watched the right one. I deleted the wrong one. You're correct. No.
So did you watch the right one?
I watched the right one. I did watch it. No, so, okay. Never mind.
Jesus, give me a heart attack. What did you do?
Oh, yeah.
What did you do, gender?
You're calling me gender now? You're using my last name? All right. Revelations is the name of the episode.
Yes!
Sometimes a Great Notion is next week's episode. So what I did is usually I will watch an episode. I will watch an episode and then delete it from my files. But I did that, but I forgot to put the title of the episode in my thing. So I went in and just checked it right before we started our podcast and put in like, oh yeah, that's the name of the episode, and forgot that I had deleted it. So yeah, no, Sometimes a Great Notion is next week. Forget me. Revelations is the episode. And that is a revelation, what the title of the episode is. And let's get into it.
My brain was trying to figure out how the fuck could there have been an episode that I skipped?
Yeah, because it seems to follow
this
right
picks
up.
up directly after the last one we did. God damn it, woman.
I am so sorry. That was completely on me. I have been in the desert. My brain is cooked by the sun, all right?
Clearly. Jesus.
All right.
Overdose on vitamin D. What the hell?
Yeah, I know. I am so sorry. All right. We're talking about Revelations, the season 4 mid-season finale. So let us get into this one. We start off the episode with Lee and Starbuck in Adama's office, and Lee is reading looking at a map, or an image, I guess, a drawing of Earth according to the prophets of the time that sort of drew what it looked like. And there's this Temple of Aurora, and Starbuck sort of comes over to him and says, we'll walk those halls together when we get there. And they start looking around and see, oh, is this Rosalind's stuff in here? It's weird for neither of them to be here. And Lee says, well, no one's sitting in his chair. Even, Ty avoids it. And, the scariest thing when I was a kid was hearing from my mom, your father's waiting for you in your study. And I would walk over to that desk and sort of be in front of him. And Starbuck says this line, children are raised to replace their parents. For children to reach their full potential, their parents need to die. So is
I
the
think it's kind of important where she got that line from that you chose not to mention.
Oh, please, yeah.
That was something Leoben said to her, and like she says this. This isn't me remembering the show verbatim because I
Yeah.
don't care. But she points out this is something Leoben said to her on New Caprica.
Yeah. No, yes. And I wrote this down as a note. It's kind of a thematic question of the show and of this episode specifically. Because this has been a repeated notion throughout the show of like, oh, the children need to kill the parents to sort of grow to their full potentials, like what the Cylons are doing to humans, da 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 da. And the question of the episode kind of is that true? Which I kind of like that as a setup. So we then jump over to the base star with Deanna, Roslin, et al. And she says, we're going to be rejoining your fleet in about an hour. And Deanna also reveals that there's only 4 of the final 5 in your fleet. So there's a interesting hint there.
Yes, which is very specific wording.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the obvious conclusion to draw is that the 5th is somebody who was currently on the base star.
Maybe.
Because that would mean they were not, because like, look, the alternative is what? Introduce a brand new fucking character in the last half of your last season?
it's look, Bob, the Cylon.
For as little respect as I have for Ronald D. Moore at this point, I think better of him than that.
Yeah, hello, welcome. It's the final 5 revelation, Bob, the Cylon.
Yeah. So that puts on the table Roslin, Baltar, Hilo, and I know you're going to tell me, no, it can't be Hilo because of Hera, except I'm throwing all of that out the fucking... I'm throwing all of that out the airlock because the show is so inconsistent about caring about any of these kids, considering that we have other kids who should also be, or at least one other kid who should also be a Cylon human hybrid, and another kid that, until shit that happened in this episode, some character should have thought was going to be a human Cylon hybrid, but nobody fucking cares. So any supposed confirmation of like, well, Hilo has to be human because otherwise Hera's meaningless. All this shit's meaningless. They've thrown their rules out. They don't care. I'm discarding all of it. Hilo's in play again, as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
Now, like because seriously, the only thing the plot requires is that the Cylons didn't know he was one of them. Mm-hmm. All it requires is that they thought he was human. It does not require that he actually is, because you'd think that, oh, but the Cylons can't have offspring. That's why they had the breeding farm. Except they can because fucking 6 is pregnant from Ty. So, yeah, everybody's in play now. So, Hilo's an option. Baltar's an option. Roslin's an option. Who else was on the base star who is like a named character who matters?
Pike.
Pike's dead. I think those might be the only 3. And honestly,
was Hot Dog on there? Hot Dog might be on there. I don't remember.
Hot Dog might be.
Yeah, Hot Dog was also on there. Yes.
Okay, so Hot Dog. So that's 4. Out of those 3, I'd actually, honestly, at this point, with how much shit I'm throwing out the window, and I actually say Hilo's the best option. Mm-hmm. And they try and play their inconsistencies off as a twist. And fuck you for thinking that's clever.
We'll see. You don't say fuck you to them when you haven't known the answer yet.
I'm saying if that is the answer, I'm preemptively saying fuck you.
Okay, all right. We will find out at some point in the next few episodes. Okay, so Deanna says we'll rejoin the 4 of the final 5 in your fleet. She says she wants the 4. And Roslin starts arguing as well, it'll be easier if you just tell us who they are. And Deanna sort of argues, well, you just kill them. And Roslin's like, no, they know the way to Earth. We need them. And Leoben tries to argue, well, we all want the same thing. And we cooperated together, and we could cooperate. And Deanna says, well, we cooperated on New Caprica. And I just wrote, is that what you call cooperated?
I do like that, like, there's kind of in a sideways manner, she does kind of get called on this later because
Yes,
there's
she
a
does.
line Baltar has later, like, you tried brute force on Caprica. That didn't exactly work. Now, like, that's not a direct rebuke of this line, like, in terms of dialogue, but like, the idea that she puts forth in here does get disputed later. And I'm glad, because otherwise it's like, fucking excuse me?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the whole episode kind of is a refutation of that idea too, that they actually had cooperated before, quote unquote,
Yeah.
when they really have not. Deanna then says, I'm going to hold your people hostage until the final four are on board this ship. And so the Centurions pull guns, and Roslyn says, oh, it's also worth mentioning Adamo is on the ship too. I forgot Adamo is
Yes.
this. So he is
You're
also
right.
one of
I
the
like I knew I was missing somebody. You're right. Adama was on the ship, which, I mean, theoretically, yeah, except that here's why that one doesn't make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue, well, there was a Leoben that like whispered to who the fuck was it, Roslyn,
Mm-hmm.
that Adama's a Cylon. But given that we know Leoben doesn't know who the final five are, that doesn't make sense to reveal that that's actually true. Like at this point in time, him saying that only makes sense as a bullshit fuck with her line right before he gets killed.
Yes.
So if they try to reveal that as the actual thing, then fucking nothing makes
Oh, it could have
sense.
also just been he was bullshitting and he just turned out to have been correct.
Yeah, okay, yes. All right. I don't have enough respect for Ronald D. Moore to think he might not pull off that.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping, I don't think better of him, but I hope better of him than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would also be bullshit. Fuck you if you think that one's clever too. So
Well, yeah.
so out of the options here, I'm honestly still leaning Hilo. Hot dog's like the gimme because there's the least stakes in that, which is why I think that one wouldn't be it either. Because like there's
It'd be
not
a weird
nearly,
one to put like the big reveal is hot dog, you know what I mean?
yeah, there's
Yeah.
like no emotional weight behind that. I don't think I don't think Baltar, because like too much shit has gone on with him that I think gets completely undermined thematically. And you could argue that's the case for Roslyn, except that since they've shown how committed to the bit
Mm-hmm.
these Cylons are, Roslyn is viable. I don't think she's interesting, but she is viable. So
So
I'd say out of who was on the ship, Hilo and Roslyn are the two best options.
okay.
I actually don't think any of them are good options, but given my first gut instinct, which is, oh, you said it wasn't on the fleet, okay, then it's here on this ship. Then those are my two best picks.
Okay. So you're saying Hilo and then number one option and then Rosalind number two is your bets.
Yes.
And then probably hot dog and then Adama.
Uh, sure. And
Okay.
then I
Okay.
well, um, honestly, I'd probably even put Baltar before hot dog,
Okay.
just because there's no weight to hot dog at all. So I guess if I remember everybody, Hilo at the top, then Roslyn, then Baltar. But like after the top two, there's a big
Yeah,
drop
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Hilo, Roslyn, Baltar, hot dog, Adama.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see how well this plays out.
Okay.
All right. So Deanna says she's, gonna hold hostages on everybody. Rosalind says to Adama to stand down because, he pulls a gun and Hilo pulls a gun. He does this and she whispers in his ear, if they get the four, blow the ship to hell. So she basically says, like, kill me if they're gonna get the four because they can't have it.
Yeah. If we can't get to Earth, nobody does.
Yes. And Adama says that Rosin sort of has Adama go back to Galactica. So,
Yep.
yep. All right. We then cut to Ty is in CIC and we see Gata and D. Gata is back at his post. He drops something at one point and we see he kind of struggles because now he has to use what do you call them?
Crutches.
Crutches to pick up the thing, and he sort of struggles for a minute. Dee helps him, and then Ty sort of callously, you could argue, but then also maybe in a weird way, sort of being like buck up kiddo thing, where he says, "Do you want to be relieved?" And Gata says, "Good to go," and sort of Ty's tough lovey
So
situation.
yeah, they actually gave Deanna a line of dialogue that wasn't
Mm-hmm.
this person's on the communicator or we have this contact. She actually had a meaningful line of dialogue. It's only one, but
Mm-hmm.
this show fucking forgets she's a human being the instant she left Lee.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, we'll get more from her soon.
That I am actually more worried about the show remembering that she exists than forgetting about her. I feel like I'm safer if the show forgets she
Don't
exists.
worry, they will remember. I think next week. We'll see. So, yeah.
Yay!
Anyways, they get a Dreadus contact, and it's the base ship coming back with a Raptor in front to signal that it is actually their base ship that they've worked with before.
Mm-hmm.
The Raptor comes in. Lee is there to meet Adama, and he hugs his dad. Deanna, as she steps out of the Raptor, she looks around and clocks all of the final four Cylons are in the room. Doesn't say anything, but clocks them each.
Yeah,
Which
because
I thought was
Sam and Tyrrell are like up on the
the
gantry, like looking down.
yeah, and Tori and Ty are sort of with the greeting
Yeah, they're
party.
right there.
Yeah. Uh, so Adama sort of says, well, the good news, or sorry, Deanna says, good news is your President Rosalind's alive and well, and the four Cylons that are in this fleet, we're holding them hostage, and then she says, and I like how she says this, she's like, I'm already in contact with them. I want them, they already know that they have nothing to fear. We only want to love and protect them. They should find a way of joining us. The only thing I ask is don't interfere with the shuttle traffic within your fleet. It's up to them. And Lee sort of agrees to this. If the final Cylons want to come to you, we will not stop them. And Deanna says we'll await them on the base star. Tori then sort of steps forward and says, "Oh, well, I need to go give Rosalind her meds. I'm not being weird at all. I definitely need to get on the ship for Rosalind's meds for no reason."
Yeah, so hey, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Deanna's little speech, very clever.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Especially since she's clocked all four of them in the room, that she can just say, I'm in communication with them, and it's literally true live in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Tori being the first to bail is, I'm not sure it's super interesting, but it's very fitting for what they've done with her up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
We could have a conversation about the optics of not only a woman, but a woman of color being the one to immediately bail and switch sides and be the duplicitous one, but I don't have the spoons for that conversation right now. Just realize that's the optics. The three white men hold fast, and the woman of color bails.
Yeah. It also could be
which
there also could be another commentary reverse on that, being like, yeah, the woman of color is like, fuck all these white people in charge. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think the show is that clever.
I was gonna say that one you would have to read into it and be very generous.
Yes.
Like, and I'm not even saying that you couldn't justify it if she was more developed as a character. She's not. But all that's fine for what it is. The fact that in this room are Kara, both Adamas, and who knows how many fucking Marines, and nobody clocks that immediately after Deanna says, and I suggest they find a way onto our ship. Somebody goes, I'd like to go on your ship, please. I was honestly waiting for one of two things to happen. I was waiting for somebody to bring it up and go, yeah, they definitely have one already, because yeah, that was obvious as hell. Or failing that, like when Lee got in touch with Deanna again for negotiation shit that's going to happen, if he'd gone, I've given you a sign of goodwill, I let her off the ship. I could obviously tell. But no, instead, everyone's just a fucking idiots.
I could at least give it a little bit that there is At least for Adama not clocking it because he would be worried about Rosalind and want her to get the
Yeah,
meds.
fine, but there's too many people in the room is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Like my ability to believe that not a single, like, I get why Ty, Tyrrell, and Sam aren't going to say anything.
well, Ty does say something, to be clear. He does
Well,
have a whole
yes,
bit about him being like, we can't, like, he's basically arguing her for not go, like, can't give them any more hostages. And Adama sort of argues, like, any
yes,
other
but
hostage is going to
he's
shame
not
them.
going to bring up the real reason.
Yes, yes.
So like he's not going to
But the
mention.
subtext of his reason is he doesn't want any of them to turn traitor.
Well,
Okay.
yes, yeah,
Yes.
but like that is completely lost on
Yeah.
this room of fucking idiots.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like that's the thing. It is a moment where what Deanna does is clever. What Tori does is as justified as anything she does is. But then it is facilitated by everybody else in the room being a fucking idiot.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah,
I'm
fine.
sorry, it takes the wind out of what had been a very well written scene.
Yeah, I still like the scene. I'm fine with it, but yeah, I get it. It's fine. Anyways, we then jump to Lee, Ty, Adama, and Starbuck in a meeting together, and they're basically saying like, "Oh, well, we need to make a play to get our people back from by force. We can't. Adama sort of reiterates Rosalind's order of if we can't stop the Silence from reaching the base ship, she wants the base ship destroyed." And Adama passes the buck to Lee, saying, "Mr. President, it's your call." And Lee agrees. The Roslyn's right. If we lose those four, we lose Earth. We destroy the base ship if things go south. So he sort of agrees to that plan.
Yeah.
They also come up with another plan. They're sort of talking about like what they could do. They're sort of in the room with the little models, the little model room. And Athena's there sort of planning out like a plan of like, oh, we could go compartment by compartment fight to get the hostages. But then they argue like we could wipe out, the Cylons could wipe out the entirety of the human race if they target the Cylon fleet, and Ty sort of like...
If they target the human fleet, you mean?
Yes, yes. Sorry, that's what I meant. And then Ty's like, do you have any other options? And I forget, I think Starbuck says it. Yeah, the four could give themselves up, which of course sort of gives Ty pause.
Yeah.
He sort of has a moment. He does that sort of like look that he does a bunch whenever he's like trying to hide that he's a Cylon. I love it. It's a good look. He just gives us like his one eye just gets a little wider, and you're sort of like, oh, whenever he's trying to hide that he's a Cylon. But then we are over on the base star, and Deanna is talking to Tori, and she sort of reveals to the rest of the Cylons, this is a great day. One of our lost siblings has arrived, and all the other Cylons are like, oh, she's one of the final five. She comes home, and Tori smiles at this. So,
yep.
We then cut to Baltar and Roslyn talking, and Baltar says, there's something I've been meaning to say to you. I wanted to thank you for not murdering me. Couldn't have been an easy decision, but I love living, and I wanted to thank you for saving me. And Roslyn says, I wouldn't be so grateful if I were you. I told the Admiral if Deanna doesn't back down to blow the ship to pieces. And I just wrote, why would you tell him that? That he's such a sniveling weasel, and like, so he just like is like, oh, I like living, and she tells him her secret plan that that she told Adama. It doesn't come to anything in the episode, but it was like,
no, like just like nobody asking the obvious question, hey, what was up with that human who immediately said I want to go on the ship when a Cylon said I think the other Cylons want to come on my ship? Mm-hmm. Like, the idiot ball is making the rounds again.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I think this is the end of the idiot ball here. Spoiler alert, I like this episode a decent amount, so.
Spoiler alert, this is one of the better episodes of this season, and that is a low bar, so.
Fair enough.
That's as good as you're gonna get from me.
I like it. I think it's a good episode. Anyways, Tori comes into the room, and, Rosalind stands up to meet her, and Tori's like, immediately like, sit down. And Tori she's like, I brought you a medication. And she then reveals I came to be with my people, and Rosalind sort of understands, oh, because you're one of the five. And I love Baltar's reaction to this. She's like, I knew it, maybe not at a conscious level, but subconsciously, has to get it.
He just has to be the special boy in the room.
Yeah.
What a fucking piece of shit. I love him. He's the worst.
He's absolutely the worst.
He's
I am
so
I
terrible.
am like he is the best character of the show. I am really excited to see the original series just because I know he's gonna be like the character's gonna be overtly evil, like mustache twirly master level, like Doctor Who the master level villain, and I'm pumped for it. Anyways, so Tori then says to this, "You had no idea, did you?" And then she goes to Rosalind, and she says, "Might be worth pondering what else you were wrong about." And Rosalind goes up to Tori and says, "Tori, wait, you're right. I'm wrong. Okay, you're one of the revered Final Fives, which means the Silence will listen to you, which one of the sixes does acknowledge as true." And so she asks Tori to go to Deanna and try and convince her to back down and release the hostages. And Tori says, "I'm done taking orders from you."
Yeah.
So,
I do like her line. It might be worth pondering what else you were wrong about.
mm-hmm.
Like, I like that line a lot.
Yeah, Rosalind, start having some introspection, god damn it. Oh, you already did that last episode? All right, well, continue having a character
Have
arc, god damn it.
more.
Have a
God damn it.
character arc, god damn it. um, we see on the base star that they space one of the hostages in space, and Deanna calls Lee over on the Galactica and says, "Another will fall."
Nameless hostage for the record. We don't even get a token acknowledgement of a name like with fucking Pike.
No, not Pike 2.0. No, not Pike also.
Oh no, it's Pike's twin brother.
Oh God, he's just like Captain Kirk in the original series. His brother George Kirk, Sam Kirk, I mean, who just has the mustache. It's just William Shatner with the mustache.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
there's still a part they did not go this route, but there's a part of me because in Strange New Worlds they have Sam Kirk as his own character in that show, and I kind of wanted it when they brought in actual Kirk instead of
You wanted
casting
it to be
Paul
the same
Wesley,
actor without the
just the same
mustache.
actor without the mustache. It would have been very funny. I would have thought it would have been clever. But anyways, so Deanna calls, tells Lee like we're gonna space another one every quarter hour until our people come home. And Lee's like, "You're not giving this a chance. We're cooperating," but she already terminated the transmission. And Lee says, "You're a go for the rescue mission to his dad. If it fails, destroy the base ship." And Ty is watching all of this.
Yep.
He gives again his another look. I'm sad we're not going to get any more of those after this episode. Anyways, we see a bunch of the pilots in the cockpit starting to get to work on everything, and we cut over to the chief. I also noticed in the background in the Viper Bay as we're watching all of this, the guy from Razor is there, and I don't think we may have seen him intermittently, but the civilian engineer, who is like his family was murdered way back.
What a completely fascinating and deeply underutilized character.
Yeah, he's there.
Wow,
anyways,
great. He's there too. Honestly, I'm more offended that he's there than if they just forgot about him, because there was legit potential to actually delve into the notion of conscripted civilians because the numbers were short, and to like ask the questions of how ethical is it to do this, and to what degree do you throw the normal ethics out when like there's so few people left. I think there was a lot that could have been done with him. And
yeah, I mean,
almost nothing was.
I mean, there's an interesting question of the fact that he's still conscripted post everything with what's her face? Why am I blanking on her name?
Kane, was it?
Kane, yeah, Kane, Admiral Kane. It's like he's still conscripted, so like there's an ethical question to be had of like, oh, she did this terrible thing, and it's like we didn't do it, but we're certainly gonna benefit from the choices that she made, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, could have been real interesting.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, yes, but when we see the chief, he starts hearing the music again, the All Along the Watchtower music, and Starbuck and Athena are sort of giving a speech in the Viper planning room, whatever you want to call it, and Anders also hears the music, and we also see that Tori and Ty hear the music. And Tori, so the other Silence ask her, like, what's going on? She's like, oh, I'm hearing it again. So, like, Tori is at least able to verbalize this as opposed to the other three.
Yeah, which was where I noted that, like, none of the other Cylons hear this, which means the signal does not originate Like this was not an activation by the other Cylons. This is something completely separate, does not impact any of the other Cylons, and also doesn't negate any of the possibilities of any of the other people on the base ship because we don't see a reaction of any of the other people. So that could easily be covered in a we didn't show it on it happened, but we didn't show it on camera bit later.
Who knows? We shall see. Ty, Anders, and the Chief all feel compelled to go to Starbucks Viper, the one that was sort of came with her when she came back in the opening of the season.
Yep.
And they all said there's something about this Viper. There's something about this Viper. Something about this Viper.
The nuclear
And
vessels.
nuclear vessels. And Ty's like, well, you checked every rivet and washer. What's changed? And, so they sort of go, something brought us here. And Anders sort of argues like, well, maybe Starbuck can help. And so Ty says, go find her, see what she can tell you, or else a lot of good people are going to die. And Ty sort of heads out and he goes immediately to Bill.
Yep.
And he goes to Bill and he says, you should scrub this mission. And first I was like, you're supposed to be in the CIC. And Ty's like, well, the Cylons are going to kill every hostage before we put boots on their ship. You know that. Roslin will be the next to die. And Bill says, well, I'm looking for options. And Ty says, you got one. I should have told you, but I didn't have the guts. Remember that Frak music I was telling you about? I thought it was in the ship. I was wrong. It was a signal that switched me on. I can't turn it off. And I was like, well, switched you on? And he's like, yes, like Boomer. I'm one of the five. And so this is when Adam was sort of like, all right, quit fracking with me. I've known you for 30 years. And Ty's like, I told you I didn't find out until I was in that nebula. And Adam keeps like finding excuses. He's like, well, think about this. When I first met you, you had hair. I've never heard of a Cylon aging. And Ty says, we didn't know about the skin jobs beforehand. And there's another kind of Cylon we didn't know about. And I'm one of them. Bill Adama started asking, he's like, well, on New Caprica, you were in captivity. They must have put an implant in you or a post-hypnotic suggestion. Let's go talk to Doc Coddle. And Ty says, it's not a delusion, not a chip. I am a Cylon. I fooled you for months. But I didn't mean to, but I did. And he puts his hand, and I like this moment where he puts his hand on Adama to sort of stop them. And Adama's like, get your hands off of me. And Ty does. And he said, if I'd had the guts to airlock myself when I first found out, we wouldn't be in this mess, but now there's a way out. Not the suicidal attack. I am one of the final five. Deanna will back down if you threaten to flush me out of an airlock.
Which is actually a really good suggestion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I like the scene. I like the scene a lot, actually.
Yeah, no, the scene's good, and it's tactically it's a great plan because Deanna's entire course of action is contingent on the idea that she holds all the cards.
Mm-hmm.
That it's contingent on the idea that nobody on the Galactica knows who these four out of the final five are, and therefore can't threaten them. And she has hostages.
Mm-hmm.
You remove the advantage. It's really good.
Yeah. No, I really like it. And I do like how Adama sort of deals with it. He's just like trying to find a bunch of excuses why this is like, switched on, you're delusional, you've got like, I've known you for ages, like all these reasons that it wouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
And Ty just sort of has to be firm about it. And oh, sorry.
At this point, I am locking in that like they have not officially closed the door to the possibility that Cylons can replace an existing human who had a human life up to a point, just be granted its memories. But like we're so late in the game now that I feel like that if they were ever going to do that idea, it needed to have like been planted by now. And everything points to the idea that the people who we know are Cylons were always Cylons. So I'm just locking that in.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I also do what I do like about the scene too, just to note it, to get granular about it, is I do really like that hands on him moment. And Ty puts his hands on him because again, like Adama's making all of these excuses of like you're delusional. It's like he's like trying to find ways to still trust his friend, like excuses to be like you're my friend. And that's the first moment of like Adama's like get your fucking like a sign that he's like okay, you're a Cylon, don't fucking touch me. In that sort of dehumanizing way that Adama's been doing throughout much of the series of like, get away from me, Cylon, you're a thing, sort of. It's like the first hint of that seeping into how he treats Ty, and I did really like that beat. It's like it's just a well done scene. So.
For me, I thought the more interesting part of that was how immediately Ty takes his
Oh yeah,
hands
such
off.
yeah.
Yeah, because I have a feeling that Ty's immediate thought was, "Yep, I get it."
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing too. I do. He's like, yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, that's this whole thing here is not that he necessarily wants to like die by suicide, but he does have a death wish to a degree throughout this episode. Um, so that is sort of like, yeah, I get it. I totally understand. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a very, very well done scene. We then cut to a bit of a montage here where Ty is being taken to airlock, and we cut to Adama having a breakdown. He screams and knocks shit off of his desk. He has his man pain. He punches the glass on his bathroom and starts drinking. So he's definitely having a man pain moment. Um, and we then cut to Lee sort of helping his dad up from the ground a little bit, and they sort of drags him over, and he says, Dad, listen, no one suspected, no one, not with his record on New Caprica, everything that happened with him, with his wife. And Adama says, well, what have I done? All these people I've sent to die. So he's sort of spiraling
yeah.
from this. And Lee's like, for Earth, and he's like, there is no Earth, it's a fracking joke. And then Adama says, I can't kill the bastard, I can't. And Lee says, it's going to be okay, I'll take care of it. So Lee's stepping
Interesting
up.
choice of words.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Yeah.
take care of it.
Yep. Well, it's also so what I also like about this moment too is it is the moment, if we go back to that theme of like the children have to kill the parents to become, it's Lee stepping into the sort of Adama decision maker position.
Yep.
That is sort of a thematic through line of this episode. So
For I'm presuming, one episode in which he's meaningfully the president.
we shall see. I'm not spoiling shit for you.
You did kind of spill the beans that
Mm.
his position in power is very short-lived.
His
You were
position,
not.
his position as president is short-lived.
Okay, fine. His position as president, but
Yeah,
you
because
you
Rosalind is back. Yeah.
you were not specific about it. But like, come, you do this where like I remember a thing you said, and then you try and play coy, like, oh, I don't know, like you ain't as slick as you think you
No,
are.
I know. I am definitely
But
not.
you keep trying to pretend that maybe you could be, and you ain't.
Yeah, I know. It's
And
fair.
you won't
Well, I mean,
be.
by the end of this episode, Rosalind is back, and she takes back her presidency, and Lee even acknowledges that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a big shocker.
Well, I mean,
Anyways,
there's also the stuff that happens at the very end that leaves me wondering, does any of that matter?
we shall see. We'll talk about it when we get there. Lee goes to the airlock, and then he punches Ty right in the face and says, "You mother fracker!" And he sort of demands him to tell him who are the others, which Ty doesn't say anything right now. He just says, "Where's the old man?" And Lee says, "Right where you put him." And before anything more gets said, Deanna calls. D gets a line and says,
Yeah,
Deanna's calling.
but now she's back to the Uhura rule of
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
have the Klingons online too.
Yeah, yeah. Deanna and Lee have a call, and Deanna's like, "You're running out of time," and Lee's like, "No, you are. You harm one more of my people," and I flushed Saul Ty out of the airlock. So now Deanna knows that he knows at least one of them, and and she sort of asked to speak to the admiral. It's like, "No, you deal with me. You have 10 minutes to release our people, or kiss your final five goodbye." And then Lee goes, hangs up and says to Ty, "I need the others, and I need them now."
Yep.
So. We then cut to Starbuck, Anders, and the chief going or talking around the Viper. And Starbuck's like, what made you feel something? He's like, we just got a feeling. And Starbuck's, yeah, I got a feeling too. You're out of your minds. And Anders brings up, because I was about to say, if no one brings this up, I'll be annoyed. But Anders does bring it up. He's like, you had a feeling about getting to Earth. Now, and we trusted you. I was defending you. You need to trust us now. But as soon as he says that, a bunch of Marines come in and arrest Anders and Chief. And Starbuck's like, what the hell is going on? And they sort of say they're Cylons. And Chief's like, go ahead to Sam. And Sam says, yes, it's true. And as they're being dragged away, and Starbuck sort of is reeling from this, he sort of yells, there's something different about this Viper. Something's changed. You got to find it.
Yep.
So, I want to call it Katie Sackhoff's acting here. I thought her, sort of wrestling with the fact that Sam is a Cylon. She played it very well. So
Yeah.
oh, I liked it a lot. We see a quick little scene of the the Centurions rounding up the hostages and sort of scaring them down a hallway. And Anders, Ty, and the chief are now in the airlock. And I like, Chief is like, this is a wild guess. You told them. And Ty says we should have done it day one.
Yeah.
Um, Starbuck is in the Viper, and this there's a bunch of like cutting back to her in the Viper, so I'll sort of reveal at the end here. But we have a quick little scene between Baltar and Roslyn, and Leoben comes in and tells them Deanna is going to execute more hostages. Roslyn says she's going to go talk to Deanna, but Baltar's like, she won't listen to you. I was with her when she found the final five, and Roslyn's like, yes, take him, that's good. So Baltar goes.
For once in his constant centering of
Yeah.
himself, he actually has a point.
Yes, he does. He very much does. I'm like, he actually, you're useful for once, Baltar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not just insisting that you're useful. You could actually factually be useful this time.
Yes. We then
It is
have,
truly a blue moon.
yep. Deanna and Lee talk and says, like, Tyrell and Anders, they found them. They're in line for an express ride into a vacuum. If you want them alive, stand down. Tori says, I know Lee. If you press him, he'll back down. Target the civilian fleet. So Tori is like played off of bad character read, I guess. Or is not understanding how much the I need to be daddy sensibility has gotten into
I mean,
Lee.
there's part of that. I guess I'm trying to remember, like, how many meaningful scenes did the two of them have together?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Like
Um,
off the top of my head, I like they were in the room together a fair bit,
I mean,
but
yeah.
that's not the same thing. I was in the room with a hell of a lot of my coworkers back when I had a normal job. I wouldn't say I knew a damn thing about them.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Balthar comes in and he sort of argues to Deanna like he's like his father. He doesn't give a damn about those three. Not now. You push him, he'll kill them. And Deanna's like, well, then he'll end the entire human race. They'll die with them. During all of this, Starbuck is looking at the Viper more, and when she's playing with it, she finds a signal on the radar. Like one of the radar things sort of reveals a signal that she finds with an arrow pointing it.
Yep.
Um, the Baystar gets the nukes hot. And they sort of like learn it's in Lee learns the fleet won't have time to jump. And so he orders everyone clear of the tube except for Ty. So he's about to space.
Which I really like that he did because, like, I like the escalation of this entire section really well. The tension builds really, really well at a very good pace. Because like you put Ty in there, and like it's the last season, and it's midway through, like seasonal mid break for a last season, especially. That's a decent time to kill somebody if you're gonna. And I kind of relaxed a little when they put Sam and Tyrell in there with him. I'm like, okay, that's too many characters.
Yeah, they're not gonna kill him.
They're not going to wipe three. But then they take the other two out, and it's just time. I'm like, they might.
Yeah.
They might actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the build up to that, and even like kind of for metatextual reasons, kind of takes the pressure off for a brief moment and then goes right back to it. I'm like, oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and it works on a character level because Lee's sort of pissed off at Ty for hurting his dad. So there's that, and then even Ty kind of wants to die. He's prepping to be spaced. So like, you really do get the sense that it could actually happen. I remember watching this scene the first time and being like, oh man, I hope they don't Ty is a fascinating character. I don't like him as a person, but as a character, I really do like him. Also, I just like the actor. The actor just has wonderful presence. So, I just Frak and I love that actor. He's great.
All right.
Like I said, he's the best part of Teen Wolf when he shows up with a freaking broadsword to murder some teen wolves, as they say. um. Anyways, Baltar sort of is still arguing with Deanna. He's like, "Do you think God brought you back for this? He could have brought you back for a different purpose to end this peacefully." And Deanna's like, well, they'll never forgive us what we did for the 12 colonies, so she doesn't think there's, any other way that this could be solved. And, Starbuck is now running. We sort of get some intercut scenes of her running to try and get to the airlock as fast as she can now that she knows this information about the Viper. And Baltar, and this is what you called out earlier, he sort of says, Deanna, well, brute force didn't work for you on New Caprica, it didn't work for you on the algae planet. Why would it work for you now? So, yep. So he's sort of pointing out like we've been doing this. We've been stuck in a what would you say sort of cycle of violence. One
Yeah.
might say.
Yeah. But like it is a fair point because Deanna's up here being like, we're done doing this the way we've done it. And Baltar's like, this is literally the way you've always done it.
Yes. But I get it. Yeah. I mean, it's doing the whole like we're in a cycle of violence thing, but it's well done. It's not so overt about
Yes.
it, which I do like. It's a well done version of this thing. This
Yeah,
idea.
the cycle of violence as a theme or as a plot point is one of those things that is not inherently bad. It's just become very trite,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of those things that is overused so much that the majority of times you see it deployed, it is not thought through meaningfully, and it's just a thing that they do and or say.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, no, this scene at the very least is presenting it a lot better
Yes.
as
Well, I
to
mean,
like what the problem is.
it is drawing it out as like a major theme of the show. If we're connecting back to what Lee Oben said all the way back at the beginning of like, oh, well, there's another line later on that I'll point out, that we'll get to. Lee is ready to space Ty, and Ty even looks at him and says, what are you waiting for, Apollo? Do it. And right as he's about to do it, Starbuck runs in and she says, "Those three Frak and Silence just gave us Earth," and manages to save Ty at the last moment.
Yep.
So Starbuck, we then cut to Starbuck around the Viper, and she sort of tells Lee it's a colonial emergency locator signal that she found, and it's only on the Viper. No other ship in the fleet can get a signal on it. It's not in the no other. It's not in the same channel on any other of the ships. And so she says it's got to be a signal from Earth, and Lee's like, "Well, you're reaching." And argues, Starbuck argues like, this is the Viper to Earth. The hybrid even told me that the final five, would lead us there, and we need the missing three to get them there. And so Deanna brought them out like this. Everything lines up for this.
And
Where
I'll note here, I actually like this as a way of knitting together what has been said because like we'd mentioned before, there's this whole thing of like the final five will lead you to Earth and like them having a panic because they're like, we don't fucking know. But
Mhm.
I like that the link ends up being because they get this signal, the signal getting detected by something other than the four of them is the thing that they can follow. So that's, if you're gonna have prophecy bullshit, that is the kind of slightly to the side interpretation that isn't intuitive, that you aren't immediately gonna parse as to what the fuck it means,
Mhm.
but also still makes sense and doesn't feel like you cheated. So if you're gonna have a prophecy, this particular aspect of it, pretty well executed.
Mhm. Well, the one part that we didn't address of that prophecy, what the hybrid said, is her telling Starbuck that you are the harbinger of death. So there's still that hanging. So
Debatably, arguably, that might be tied off at the end of this episode, depending on how you want to interpret that.
maybe we shall see. We shall see. Anyways, this leads to another question. Is like Lee is like, what? We're getting messages from the beyond. And Starbucks like, something. The Final Five led me to it, home of the home of the 13th tribe, and Lee says something's orchestrating this for a purpose. Starbucks says a higher power, and he's like, call it whatever you want, but it seems to want us to find Earth with the Cylons.
I really wish they hadn't said the words higher power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it was a perfectly reasonable conversation to have that, like, this isn't a signal that occurs naturally. Somebody's sending it, somebody's turning it on and off. Cool, fine, perfectly fine conversation. Go ahead and have it. I just wish they hadn't said that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, again, is just mildly too on the nose. It's not like the worst way you could have put that, but like it is like drawing a big red circle around it, going, see?
See,
Like,
look, our
no,
theme's about God. It's a thing.
yeah,
There's
no, I already got it, Ron. Thanks.
yeah, it's making it very explicit that we're connecting the like God stuff to this whatever's going on with the prophecy bullshit.
Yeah. And it was just a needlessly clarifying line that made me feel like the show didn't think I got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I wish you hadn't said that.
Mm-hmm. But yes, the notion of there's something guiding them is very clearly explicitly brought up here.
Yeah.
Um, then which is I think potentially the first time we've ever gotten a notion of like there specifically being a well no because we've had like the CAD 6 and Head Baltar also talk about like God wants you to find stuff sort of thing.
Well, we've had that, but like even though the humans haven't been following like this notion of a singular god, they were like the Temple of Athena and like
Yes,
and
yes,
all
but
this other stuff.
that's
So
all
like,
just like vague prophecy bullshit, not necessarily attributing it to something with intentionality, I guess is the
yeah,
distinction.
but it's still a form of divine intervention. It is not very far removed
No,
from
no,
the
but it is the
concept.
thing the first no, you're not wrong, but I think this is the first time the show ever is explicitly like put that notion in something other than whatever the hell the head Baltar slash sixes are. So
I suppose. I mean, maybe that's why they felt like they could get away with painting a big red nose on it, but whatever.
I think the reason they did point the big red nose on it is they wanted it to be very clear, like, ooh, you should be thinking about that. I think is the point. But yeah. Anyways.
Ooh, thinky, thinky.
I'm trying to help the show, but no, you're not having any of it. Anyways.
This thing has tried my patience for too long. You're not gonna save it now. Look, this I wasn't kidding when I said this is easily the second best episode of the season, if nothing else. But that's still qualified praise for me, and it's always going to be.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I'm trying to be fair.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, the a heavy raider lands on Galactica, and so Deanna and everyone is there. Deanna's there, Loomer is there. I'm still calling it Loomer. And the Centurion is there hanging out. Yeah, because we don't have a name for her yet. I'm sure we'll get dropped that she's named like Sarah or something later on down the line after she dies or something. I don't know. I'm not saying she is dying. I'm just making the joke. But yes. So yeah, Loomer. I'm still gonna call her Loomer until I know.
Loomer Pike.
Yeah, like it's that's good. Yeah, no, I could theoretically look up their name on like the Battlestar Galactica wiki, but I'm not. I'm just gonna call her Loomer for now. Anyways, Deanna, Loomer are all there checking out the Viper, and Deanna's like, "Oh yeah, that's one tiny needle in the whole fleet. It's wafer thin." And Lee's like, "It's the best I can do." And she says, "You're all in agreement. This is the way to Earth." She says that to the four of the final five, and Ty's like, "This is the best explanation that we've got." And Lee sort of argues like, "We share this information with you. We could have just left you behind, but that would have just led to another confrontation, another standoff." And this is the line that I did like, and I was mentioning before. Leoben says, all this has happened before, and Lee cuts him off and says, but it doesn't have to happen again.
That
So
one I liked. I like that.
yes. So this is explicitly calling out the themes of again, like breaking the cycle of violence in a indirect way, and calling attention to how it's been a repeated theme throughout the show,
Uh,
which I really like, and as a point. Um, so I like I don't know. It's just a point that I really like in terms of well, so Lee keeps going. He's like we make up our minds to change. We can take a different path right here right now. You were afraid we'd kill these final four. I've granted them amnesty. They're free to go or stay. Um, where do we go from here? Is up to you. And Deanna says, "All right, I'll release your crew. We'll go to Earth together." So yeah, I just to note it so we don't pass by it because I think it's like an important scene. Like this is the whole kind of idea I think of a show sort of getting to a thematic conclusion here, which is okay, we can choose to do something different. We can choose, put aside our differences for this greater goal to try to work together and break the cycle of violence and choose how to work together instead of constantly be fighting each other and perpetuating that. And it tying into that same idea from the beginning of the episode of like, oh, do children have to kill their parents to become them? This is an idea that runs against that idea and counter to it, even though it's kind of also been a theme of the show. Which again, I like. I like it sort of like, oh, we've had this whole theme throughout this whole show, and now we're sort of saying like, no, we're doing. It doesn't have to go that way. So.
I don't disagree.
I'm just trying to because it is important. It's probably the most coherent thematic message of the show. So I think it is worth drawing attention to, and I think it's nice. And I think if the show handles any of its themes well, it's that one. I think it at least does that pretty well. So
Okay.
I will give it that. All right.
All right.
All right. We then have Lee going to Adama, and Adama is sort of more put together at this point, or at least not drunk on the floor. And it says, "This is our destination, which is what we're looking at for which the Viper is leading us to." And Lee sort of says to Adama, "What are your orders? Are you ready to take us home?" And Adama's like, "I don't know." And Rosalind shows up and says, "You don't know what?" And she says, and they have like a tender moment. She says, "This is it. This is everything we were working for. I want to see you pick up that first fistful of earth." And he says, Adama says he'll go get ready. I also guess like the first fistful of earth. I get it because it's like it's Earth. They're calling it Earth, but we also call ground Earth. I'm like, would you say I want to see you pick up that first fistful of Mars? I guess it's an odd, like in their context, it's a weird phrasing.
Look, in their context, none of this shit makes any sense.
Fair enough. Anyways,
they had a fucking phrase in Latin.
Yeah.
None of this shit makes sense.
Yeah. Anyways, Rosalind and Lee have a quick little scene. He says, "I'm glad to see you. I'm sure the quorum will be glad to see you again. And I think I just finished the shortest presidency in colonial history, as we talked about earlier." And Rosalind says, "This fleet is, you kept your head on straight and you were able to make the hard decisions. This fleet is going to need that kind of leadership in the days to come. So you're not off the hook yet."
Yeah, and to think Romo had an existential crisis over the man being president for 2 days.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys, but then Adama comes in and he's fully put together. He says, you guys done flapping your lips, or we're going to find Earth." And there's
at this point I just wrote down, okay, what's the other shoe?
Because
it's gonna drop before the episode ends. What's the other shoe?
Yeah, because this is the mid-season finale. You can't get to Earth at the mid-season finale.
Well, you can. But big asterisks.
Yeah. So they first talk about like, oh, we'll send a recon team down, and Adama's like, "Nope, we've got nowhere else to go. We got to roll the hard 6. We go together. So we're just gonna go. So we're gonna roll that hard 6.
Whatever the fuck that means. I still don't understand.
So I actually looked into this, and apparently it's also nonsensical. So correct me if anything. If people who play craps know better, please feel free to correct me. But from what I was reading, what it means to roll the hard 6 is you can technically, because craps is like rolling 2 die and getting a certain number. So to roll the hard 6 is if you roll a 3 and a 3, I think is like the hardest way to get it, instead of rolling 2 separate. Like you technically roll like a 1 and a 5, or you could roll a 2 and a 4. So like there's multiple ways to get a 6, but the hard 6 is there's only one way to get it with double numbers. Which is 3 and 3. So that's statistically the least likely outcome. So that's what rolling the hard 6 is, because it's the statistically least likely way to get a 6.
Okay, but that's completely up to chance, and that's not a thing you decide to do.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's the point.
Is that why the phrase is nonsensical?
No. So it makes sense in that statistical term, in the sense like, because what he's saying is sometimes you just gotta roll and like hope you get the statistically hardest outcome. Sometimes you just gotta go for it and hope you get the least likely outcome. Okay. That's essentially what the phrase means. So like in that context, it does make sense. It doesn't, but in the game of craps, there's nothing extra for rolling the hard 6. It's just called that. So if you roll the hard 6, it's like, oh yeah, that's a hard 6. You got it. But it's not like you get extra points or anything. It's just what it's called. So it's like there's no context in which you have to roll the hard 6, is I guess the point that I'm saying. So it's like it's a phrase that makes sense within its own like statistical terms, but like in the game itself, if someone ever said sometimes you gotta roll a hard 6, people would be like, no, you don't. You never have to.
Sometimes you will, but you are not required.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's a kind of nonsensical phrase. I just bring it up because it's brought up in the show a bunch, and then they recently had it on For All Mankind. A character did the same thing. It's like, sometimes you gotta roll the hard six. And I'm like, all right, yeah, fine, yeah, all right, Ron, I see you.
Yeah, Ron, you're real proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
Hurrah.
Anyways, yeah. Anyways,
If Kratos says it, then we know we're in
yeah.
trouble.
Some Sometimes,
Sometimes
boy, you gotta roll the hard six.
when you throw the bones.
I think it would be hilarious if they do that. That'd be so fucking funny. I kind of want it now. Look, I've just rested my case. I'm just not hopeful for that. As someone who really loves the God of War games quite a lot, I really adore them. I have no hope for that show, and it makes me sad. Uh, yeah. Anyways, the Galactica crew get ready to jump to Earth. There's very angelic music playing. It's all like very triumphant. Yay, look how wonderful this is.
Mhm.
It's they're building it up like the board is green, the ship is ready to jump. You
Look at
know,
this shoe dangling. It's about to
yeah,
drop.
yeah. Don't worry if it's gonna drop. You just don't. Just it's dangling. It's fine. It can stay there. Who knows? Don was like, Madam President, without you, we wouldn't have made
Yep.
it. Give the order. And she's like, it's a long time coming. And she's like, okay, take us to Earth. They jump.
Yep.
Dratus is clear.
Hmm.
They confirm their position. It's like confirm this position. Make sure you get it right. The fleet is all present. The visible constellations all match, and we get a shot. It's a really beautiful shot of the fleet arriving at Earth.
Yep.
So, yep, they made it
Yep.
there.
Yep. We're here. Pay no attention to the sword of Damocles that's hanging over everything.
Yeah,
Pay it
don't.
no mind. I'm sure it'll go away if we ignore it.
Yeah. Adama gives a speech. He's like, 3 years, I promised to lead you to a new home. We all suffered. We all lost. We all suffered. I even questioned if this day would come, but our journey is at an end. We have arrived at Earth. Everyone cheers. We get a big montage. We see the miners cheering over on the mining ship. We get the chief with Nikki, Hilo and Athena with Hera, Baltar with his, followers. Ty is
Oh God,
alone.
God,
Yeah,
this fucking sex
yeah.
cult.
The one that I like the most is Starbuck is in the memorial hallway and she's looking at a picture of racetrack and says, "We did it."
Yep.
And Anders is there, sort of like watching with her. Um, Adama hugs Lee, and Lee says, "We did it," and Lee says, "You did it." So Adama says, "We did it." Lee says, "You did it." And then they all go down to Earth, and everything was fine, and the show is now over. That's it. That's all there is. Nope, they get down to Earth, and it's a bombed out, radioactive hellhole, post-apocalyptic terrain where we see and I think it's actually you can kind of see it's the actual hall that they were talking about at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, it's got
Uh,
the same design on
Design
like
and
the
everything.
dome
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
but they're in a destroyed city, and because we hear a Geiger counting going, we can presume that it is also radioactive. Yeah.
Yep. It's the Army of Darkness director's cut ending.
Yep. It's yep, all this work, they get to Earth and it's a shithole. And that's how we end out the mid-season break.
And somehow we're gonna squeeze another 10 more episodes out of this.
Well, there's still that Harbinger of Death Damocles thing
I
going
have
on.
one question and only one question, and I'd
Mm-hmm.
appreciate an answer given that it's going to be obvious as soon as we start the next episode. Is there going to be another fucking time jump?
No.
Good.
There will be no more. There will not be another time jump. There is something I am curious. Did you notice something? That's all.
I hate when you ask me that. I fucking hate when you ask me that because that is so open-ended that it's fucking useless.
I know, but I can't. I can't say anything because it would be obvious.
I can tell you what I noticed that grossed me out.
Hmm. Oh, I know
So,
exactly what it is. I know. I've made a note of it.
we have most of our
Wait, wait,
named
wait, 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 wait. I'm gonna. Oh wait, I want to predict. I want to see if I can predict this. Yeah.
You writing it down?
Yeah. 1 second. So I've written it down really quickly and badly if you'll be able to read my handwriting. But just say what you're going to say and I'll show it to the camera when it's time.
So we have the named characters down on this so we can pan over everybody before we get to the destroyed city. And Ty's there, and I forget what we designated this 6 as, But the 6 that he's been fucking,
That's Caprica
his
6.
that is Caprica
Yeah,
6?
that's
Okay,
Caprica 6.
fine. Caprica 6 comes up and like touches his arm affectionately. Fuck you. Yep.
I wrote down 6 holds Ty's hand.
Yep. Fuck you. That was fucking gross. This show has zero understanding of the fucked power dynamic of the very concept that those two ever had sex, much less that she's fucking pregnant. And it is far less the fact itself that grosses me out. It is the clear, complete obliviousness to that fact that grosses me out. I'm not disgusted that you did it. I'm disgusted that you don't realize it's disgusting.
Yeah. Yep. So there is that. All right. I'm going to do a spoiler minute on this because there's something I definitely want to talk about that you could have noticed but clearly did not.
I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you.
I
I
know
hate
you
when
do.
you do this.
I
I
know
hate
you
when you
do.
talk
I
like this.
know you
I
do.
understand why you do, but I hate it.
I know, but it's like I have to give you the opportunity to not notice it and give you the chance. But yeah, I don't know.
You're asking me about a show I barely care about. Do you think I noticed the secret bullshit?
It's
The
not
fuck?
secret. It's not secret. It's actually highly noticeable. Once you know it, it's very obvious. It's like, okay. But I'm not gonna say it to you, so
I
we'll
mean, like what struck me as the most important aspect of it was the Geiger counter going off, and you
yeah,
noted that.
yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah. I'll give you a thing. It's before that shot.
I don't fucking know, man, and I don't
All
care.
right, well then we'll do the spoiler minute. For the next 60 seconds, I am going to talk spoilers. So if you do not want spoilers, just like Vera does not, you can jump ahead.
Vera doesn't care anymore, but whatever. We'll keep to the bit.
Jump ahead 6 seconds, just like Vera's going to do in real time, the salty bitch. And give me 60 seconds and go.
And go.
So the big thing that I'm like teasing Vera about is the fact that, because I was curious how they would shoot it, is you'd never really get a good shot of the planet itself. So you never actually see that it is not Earth, the Earth that we are currently on right now, as we listen to this, that it is not actually the Earth that they will end up on at the end of the show, which is noticeable if you like. I was looking for. I'm like, do they ever show a shot of the planet to like reveal that it's not Earth, like Earth that we know? And they keep it shadowed in darkness or have like close-up shots of it. So, which I think is clever. I think it's they do it well enough where you don't think about it. Clearly, Vera didn't think about it. But I kind of like that. Yeah, so that's just the only thing to note really there. I'm trying to think, and also the Harbinger of Death stuff is, we'll get there when we get there. That was basically just the only thing that I wanted to note and call out with this end reveal. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. Staying mentally healthy and
Time.
taking care of yourselves. It's fine. Yeah, that's all I have. All righty, Vera. So I do want to ask you some questions though before we get into
Okay.
overall
I mean, like I went back and looked at the shot immediately before he grabs the handful of dirt and there's the Geiger counter going off. It's just the ships coming down. I don't know what the fuck you expect me to notice.
I will tell you when we get to the series finale.
And I'll probably tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, what are your questions?
I'm just curious. What do you think? I'm just curious where you're. Imagine you were a person who was actually invested. What if you were? What do you think of like this like reveal sort of thing?
See, the thing is, I don't have to imagine because I think my question would be the exact same one I already asked.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck do you get another 10 episodes out of this?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I think that would have been my question if I cared. And I think it's my question regardless.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell do you get 10 episodes out of the situation that's left? I mean, obviously, the one main thing that you do to drive conflict is you have the rest of the Cylons, not the rebel Cylons, because that's who's there. You have the rest of the fucking Cylons show up, and that's a thing. Obviously, you do that. But, like, that can't be 10 fucking episodes. What else do you do besides that? I don't know.
Honestly, I will say one of my favorite storylines in the show, asterisk, that I remember, is about to occur in this show. And I'm very kind of excited for it. We'll see how it pans out. But yes, there is one big storyline that I do very much remember going forward. Actually, two that I remember. I mean, the other thing too is you do have the not rebel. What do we want to call them? Cavill Cylons, I guess we'll call them. We that out there. You also have the final Cylon, I guess we'll call them, still out there. So we have that. We have the Harbinger of Death thing going on. We now have
Oh,
this
well, as I
what's the higher
mentioned,
power thing going on.
like the harbinger, like you're harping on it so much. Obviously, that's still going to be a thing of some kind, whatever. My gut instinct, if I'd been watching this originally, or if I still cared, would be that this ties it off because she brought them to a place that is nothing but death. Like that's done already.
I would
I'm
say
assuming.
that is not the case.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. I don't care.
I, I
Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is actually a good episode. I
mhm.
know I had like a couple of nitpicky points about it, and I'm fucking grossed out by the Caprica shit and whatever else. But functionally, core structurally, it is very well put together. It is accomplishing what it needs to accomplish. It is moving the story forward. It is very well paced. It is very tense. There's some phenomenal scenes in it. This is a good episode. It doesn't make me start caring about the show again. So, like, this part where, like, you're trying to get me in any way vaguely excited for what's left, this is the biggest face plant you could be doing. Because if you'd asked me instead what I thought about the episode, I would have said a lot more positive stuff, but you didn't. Instead, you were like, well, what do you think will happen? What do you
Well, I
think?
was gonna get
I
to
don't
the
care.
episode.
The
I
answer
was
is
gonna
I
get
don't
there.
care.
I was gonna get there. I'm trying to hold on some goddamn vestige of what this show was supposed to be, Vera. I was trying to hold on to it. I was trying to have a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of fun, but no, you're too disillusioned and just dead inside, I guess, to ever have a soul.
Yes,
Vera,
I am. Is there a fucking problem?
no,
Good.
I can't change it. They keep saying you can try and change them, but you never can.
I'm keep trying. I'm sure you can fix me.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, what I will say for myself, just for me, just on this note of like what's gonna happen next, sort of bit. I loved this when I was like this. I was like freaked the fuck out. I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck's gonna happen? I was on all the boards, so many message boards. I remember this finale blowing my mind at the time, and I thought it was the coolest fucking thing. So many theorizing about, oh, what's leading them there, all this sort of stuff. So I loved this episode, and to get to the other point too of what do we think about the episode as a whole, I really liked this episode as well. Like I still really liked it. I think it was great. Yes, it has a couple things like Tori and Caprica 6. But overall, this was great. I really loved it. I think it's a great mid-season finale. What about you, Vera?
It is very good at what it is trying to do. It is the second best episode of this season after the one from 2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, yeah. It's easily the second best episode of the season, and by a wide margin, because this, I'm sorry, dude, the season's been shit. It's so as an individual piece, it is good. It does nothing to rekindle whatever vague memory of embers of interest that I ever had in this show. They are long dead, but I can recognize a good episode when I see a good episode, and it was a good episode.
I also I'm curious on something. Because I think I saw it. What's the name of this episode again? Not Sometimes a Great Notion.
Revelations.
Battlestar Galactica. I just want to see something because I have a guess here on something. No, okay, never mind. I was wrong. I was curious if this
What
episode
else
was
is
written.
new?
Yeah, I know. Oh, thanks. Wow. Jesus Christ. No, I was wondering if this was being written by Jane Espenson, who is I think the one woman in the writers room on this show. She also wrote for Buffy and a bunch of other shows. I do
Yeah,
like Jane Espenson.
I know Jane's work.
And I was like, oh, maybe that's why there's not as much shitty women writing here in this episode. So, but no, that is not the case.
No, they were just too busy writing stuff that they're actually kind of good at. They didn't have the
Mm,
time to write
yeah.
too much,
Well,
too much shitty women
this
stuff.
episode was written by Bradley Thompson and David Weddle, who are both writers on Deep Space Nine with Ronald D. Moore, and like wrote like The Strain and Falling Skies
Oh God, the strain is shit.
for
Don't
all
no, don't pitch that.
for
Oh
all
fuck.
mankind. They also did For All Mankind as well. So
Have you ever tried to watch the strain?
no, I've heard weird things about it. I
It's
almost did because it was Del Toro, and then I remember, and then everyone told me it was terrible, so I never got
it
around to it.
starts out so good, and by the end of its first season, it's so bad. It's
Yeah,
so bad,
that's what I've
man.
heard. Yeah. So, anyways, they were writers on that show as well. Anyways,
Who earns?
and also they wrote the pilot for Defiance. Oh man, that's a show. Defiance. What a that was a weird one. Defiance was the show that was like based on the video, like not even based on the video game. It was made along. Did you remember the show? Made
I
alongside the
remember
video
it
game.
existing, and I remember the video game being developed at the same time because they thought the show was going to be bigger than it was, and it wasn't. And they released the game because of sunk cost fallacy, and nobody gave a shit.
Well, what it was, no, it was actually more than that. It was actually it was more ambitious, and I actually didn't hate the idea. The idea is interesting, but the show needed to be better for it. But the idea was that it was a kind of World of Warcraft type of MMO,
Yeah.
and as the TV show would happen, there would be world-changing events in the show that would then that very week be reflected in the game, which I think is an interesting concept.
It's an
Um,
interesting concept. It was never going to work. If they couldn't get video game and movies impact each other to work for the fucking Matrix, it wasn't going to work for Defiance.
Yeah. Well, Defiance tried. It was Defiant.
Look, it is one of those things that is neat on paper, but the instant that concept has to meet with reality, it crumbles instantly.
Yes. Well,
Like rice paper in a wind tunnel.
speaking of crumbling reality, stuff time. That
Stuff.
might be my best transition I've ever done. Anyways.
Stuff. If you want to find my stuff, Council of Geeks. Patreon pays the bills and enables me to do this as my living. The main thing that funds is the Council of Geeks YouTube channel. New videos every Saturday. Occasionally additional videos if there's some stuff going on, but usually just new video every Saturday. If you support me on the Patreon, that gets you access to those videos early and also ad-free versions of those videos as opposed to what is up on YouTube.
Fancy.
And that's at any support level, and then additional perks past that. There is also the Break Room of Geeks, where I talk about whatever I have watched, listened to, read, or played lately. And I have decided I'm going to put up videos of each new episode of Game Changer as it comes out on Dropout TV. So that'll be a thing that I will be covering, apparently. So look forward to those.
That's nice.
And
I haven't watched the premiere yet.
Yeah, I shot my review for that earlier today.
Oh, nice.
So that is the geeky stuff. There's also the spicy stuff.
Spicy stuff.
Because I makes a whole lot of porn, raunchy, dirty porn. Come and get your porn. Look for Vera Wild spelled W-I-L-D-E. And you can find increasingly porny nonsense on YouTube.
And you can find me at Jesse Gender on YouTube, where I do video essay style of stuff. I will have just recently come out, or will be about to come out, with a video on
Congratulations on coming out.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. No, I am finishing up hopefully tomorrow my video on Starfleet Academy. But I am more than likely going to get a bunch of fucking ad claim or copyright claims on it. So hopefully it'll be out by the time you are listening to this. If not, it'll be out relatively soon once those copyright claims clear. So be on the lookout for that. It'll definitely be up on my Patreon and on Nebula, though. So if you want to get it early, go support me on Patreon, where I'm also now doing monthly Q&As. And then where you get to ask me questions, and there's some exclusive videos there. And then I'm also going to be, not just yet, but in the near future, within the next few months, once my schedule clears up a bit, doing a book club. So you can follow me on Patreon for that. I am also on Nebula, like I said, so you can support me by signing up for Nebula, and that's where my movie Identity is, as well as the show Subliminal that I direct an episode of that'll be releasing later this year. We have finally picture locked that thing. And then yeah, I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram. I have a site, Jesse Gender After Dark, where I do news, reviews, reactions. I will be reviewing Star Trek Strange New Worlds when that comes out in the next few
I'm
months.
sorry.
Yeah. Oh boy. We'll get there when we get there. Not sure what I'll be reviewing elsewise, but something I'm sure I'll find something to talk about. But beyond that, anything else? Avira.
Nah.
Alrighty. I hope you all, my friends, live long and prosper.
Be seeing you.
Huzzah.